Hey guys, it is Eminem studying in Seoul, South Korea. This video is really just here to hopefully ease some other people's stresses because one of the biggest stresses I had was actually getting here and getting in the country because I was afraid they wouldn't let me in or I missed a piece of paper or something. So I just wanted to go through a little bit of that process and some advice that I have. So hopefully it will be less stressful for you when you come to Seoul, South Korea, or maybe you can apply this to another country as well. But I know Korea is pretty strict with their entry guidelines. So I took this entire folder full of my documents that I needed because I also, even with this folder, I fumbled around and dropped stuff and it was really embarrassing, but I got through. It was fine. I had no big hiccups or anything. So let's just go through some of the stuff you need to get here. So first thing you absolutely have to have, no matter vaccination status or whatever, is a signed and sealed COVID test. And so I went and got my first one at CVS and it did not come back in time. So I had to go to this place that gives you results in one day because you have to have it within 72 hours of your departure to Korea. So it has to have the date, your name, your birthday, a seal from the place, and it has to have the COVID test. It also needs to be PCR. It can't be like a rapid antigen test. PCR, and you have to get it back super fast. So sadly, I had to pay $300 for this slip of paper. It was worth it to get here, but it was really stressful when my results from CVS did not come back in time, so I had to go zoom out and find a place that actually offered one-day test results, guaranteed. So you need this. Print off 2 copies at least, because you'll need it. And then, obviously you need your passport, so my American passport. They're gonna do some stuff with it, but their visas are now transitioning to online, so I got this off online. My visa grant notice, hopefully there was nothing important on there. So you need to have that as well, or else they're like, why are you here? You can't get in unless you have this stuff. Also, I brought my vaccination card. No one ever looked at it, but I brought it. Next thing that you absolutely need to do is you need to find out where you are quarantining. You have to quarantine. It's mandatory unless you somehow get a slip to not quarantine. I haven't heard of anyone doing that. I think that's for actual Koreans. So I wrote down my exact address and everything and stuck it in here because you have to put it in on paper and on this app 5 different times. And so if you just saw it once, there's no way you'd be able to remember. You need to have it for easy access because they ask you so many times and it happens, it's hard to remember it. And English is okay for writing it down. Also, my next biggest thing that you really should do, at least in my opinion, it's more preference, is get a Korean SIM card before you get here. I ordered mine from Trazy.com, and there's one option where they can ship it to you. It shipped to me in 2 days, so you can do this in quickly. You get it, you can set it to activate a day or 2 before you get to Korea. Then when you get here, you turn your phone all the way off, you turn it back on, and it worked. I had data and I had a phone number that works because they need your phone number for a couple different things while you're going through customs. Here, got my phone number and everything, got my SIM card. I had to put it in a couple times. Again, write that down along with your address because you will need it. Now you can get through if you have a friend with a Korean phone number or possibly a school or something that has a Korean phone number. They'll call to make sure. So that's another one of the big parts. It's just easy if I had one because I can always count on myself to answer and to figure it all out. Plus you can get the apps and stuff easier when you have a Korean phone number. And I've heard that there is a SIM card station in the airport, but I never saw one. Like, we were just herded through, and there was really no place to stop. You were waiting in line or you were talking to someone getting through the country. I never saw a place to get a SIM card. There was only a couple stores, and that was by baggage claim too. So do not count on getting anything from the airport because you're really just like rushed in there and then gone. It took me like 45 minutes. I was at the front of the plane, so I missed the whole line. I got through there really quick compared to most people. Plus, I had all my stuff in the same place. If that might have helped me, I hope it did. They need to take your temperature and all that to make sure you're doing okay. And there's about 6 different stations that you have to go to, and you give them paperwork, you fill out a little thing, they give you something back, and you go to the next one. So about 6 stations before you get to baggage claim. I could not find my bags at the beginning. It didn't tell me anywhere where they were, which was a little scary, but a really nice Korean man showed me. He saw that I looked confused and he's like, "Oh, you're over there." So that was very helpful. And then getting home, I didn't really have the common experience. My school and a bus picked me up. So I just got to go to this little station where Korea University was. Others would have to get on a quarantine bus that goes to the station where you get tested for COVID, and then you go to your quarantine site, or you get like a taxi van or something like that. But it's like you cannot leave the airport without like an official's guidance or without getting your COVID test. So the COVID test was okay. I've heard people say that it was hard, but they also swab your mouth, which they did not do in the US for me, at least. So I did all that, and that was some of my advice for getting through customs in Seoul, South Korea. Also, the date of this is the 2nd of August, so things might change. But for right now, August, July, this is what it was. So alright, I hope that helped. If you have any more questions, please ask. I'm in quarantine, I'm bored. I can reply. So if you have any more questions, just reply down below, and subscribe, like if you want to see some more content in Korea, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot more when I get out of this room. See ya!